on in my room right now.
Really? Just a ton of windows?
I am looking at my window. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, and we're live. Here we are. We're just chit-chatting away, and we are live. Welcome Mackenzie to Facebook Live here on Georgiana with Millions of Women Strong. And I'm excited to be bringing one of the last of the contributing authors for Wisdom of Women Journal, and excited. Mackenzie is the owner of Virtual Cascade with your mom, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And she is my virtual assistant. And I was telling her today, I said, I think maybe you're working harder on my business than I am. So anyway, she's brilliant, and consider myself so lucky to have her on my team. And you know, I tell everybody that you should go to Cascade Virtual. So anyway, there's my little short commercial and testimonial. But anyway, the article that she wrote is on productivity, and she's the queen of productivity. I don't know how you do it, I can't even keep track of what I need to do, and you keep track of lots of people of what they need to do. So Mackenzie, welcome and thank you. And why don't you go ahead and give yourself tell people more properly what it is that you do and how you help people.
Yeah, no, I thank you for having me on, and thank you for letting me contribute to the magazine. It's been an awesome resource for me to read what everybody else is writing, honestly. And so I've always appreciated being part of this group, and I love the whole Millions of Women Strong network that you've built. It's just phenomenal, and the support is just phenomenal. And so
Awesome.
I appreciate you. Yeah. And so, yeah, we started Cascade Virtual back in 2016. I found virtual assisting when I was a stay-at-home mom with my first son, and also found that there was kind of a lot of loopholes in the wild, wild west that is virtual assisting. So we came up with a platform for the security of assistants, the security of clients, and then to be able to sort of flesh out and build a team, which is where we're at now. So now we are streamlining even ourselves to build out teams, affordable teams for the clients that we work with the goal of really kind of looking at that business and then taking it from where it's at now to what are the goals that they have and how can we plug in to make those happen.
Yeah, I think that's just to go a little bit deeper in here. This really is what has gotten me so excited, is this new thing that you're doing. Like, you went through everything that I need, and managing the VAs, you know, having different people who specialize in different things. Mm-hmm. Like, that makes sense. Like, I don't have to find all the different VAs to do all the different specialty stuff that I need. You're like putting the people in where they need to be and managing all in the background. And man, I mean, I have never felt so taken care of ever.
Oh, so thank you.
It's amazing. So I think, and I don't know of any other VA companies that are doing it that way. So it's kind of like you hire a VA, at least the ones that I've been with, they're like, you get one VA and hope that they do everything that you need. Mm-hmm. Otherwise you get another one, right? So anyway, it's brilliant. So
thank you.
Yeah, so let's talk productivity.
Okay.
So, you know, you wrote the article on productivity, and of course I'm looking over here, just so you know, to look at comments and stuff on the other screen. So delegating is the language of successful people. 5 reasons that hours you spend working on your business is killing it. Oh, go ahead, tell us.
Yes. So if there's one thing that I feel like I can attest to just overall my entire life, I feel like I am definitely a serial entrepreneur, like most of the ladies, or a lot of the ladies in the group just have an entrepreneurial spirit and mindset, and you look at things and you configure them as a business immediately. That's kind of always been my spirit animal. I don't know. But in saying that, what I've learned through business creation, business failure, working on other people's businesses, which is where I've found is really my passion, doing it and trying to go at it alone is just, it's an impossible feat. And just like the way that this is going to, this can sound however it sounds, but the way the universe works is anything only works if we're working it together. That's just kind of how life works. And so
I say together we're stronger. I mean,
it's absolute facts in literally every arena in our lives. So in business, it's the same thing. If you set about it and really say, okay, well, I'm just gonna, do it this way, or save a bunch of money because I'm gonna try to do it all myself, you will inevitably fail. There's no way around it like anything else. If there was anything else you set out to do and be like, it's just gonna be me and I'm an island to myself, it just doesn't work that way. So to be able to find the people that can be passionate about what you're passionate about and see your vision and see your picture is the only way that we've even have Cascade Virtual moving forward right now. We are so fortunate to have the team members that work as like staff for us, and then the clients that allow us to kind of come in and work and see their vision, and two heads have always been better than one. I can only have so many ideas. Any of us can only have so many ideas. And so I guess I say all that to say that delegating for me just as an overall has just been a fortunate opportunity that now we are really trying to get people on board with. And not only that, I mean, now that, I have kids and, there's, I'm getting older and there's things you want to participate in. And the last thing you need to or want to really be doing is to miss out on all of those opportunities because you are forcing yourself to do admin tasks or social media that you hate, or whatever part of it is just not your ball of wax, but you're forcing yourself to sit there instead of putting it in the hands of somebody who can get it done rapid fire and to the scale that you want it to be done.
Yeah, I think it's great. So one of the things, and this is outside of, maybe productive, well, maybe not, but, one of the things I guess that I've really struggled with is knowing figuring out how to and what to delegate to other people. And so what do you tell people when it comes to that?
Yeah, that is everybody's hang up, including my own. It's one of those things that we all struggle with because we're all kind of, taught that this is your baby and you take care of it yourself. But so we have this kind of list of 3 things that we go over with people initially to kind of get a feel for where they are, what they want to do, and where their passion is in their business. And so we take that list of things they hate doing, like right off the top, hate doing, but they're doing it anyway, but shouldn't be because it's taking away from the genius of their business. Things that they can do, but probably shouldn't do it because, I mean, it's fine, but it's not where it could be if there was somebody doing it who kind of did this kind of thing all the time. And then things that they just can't do, where it's just, it makes your head hurt, you hate it, you not even hate it, it's just that it's not your wheelhouse, right? Like,
totally.
I'm a Pisces, I'm creative, these are my wheelhouses, and there's other people who have these wheelhouses. And if I tried to get in those wheelhouses, it just isn't my zone, and so we kind of figure those out with the client where they are, and then come to grips with goals, right? Really realistic goals so that we can attach ourselves to those goals, really plug away at that, and then see if those goals are realistic. And if they're not, establish goals and work towards those so that you're always moving at least upwards for sure.
Yeah. So if you're, so maybe somebody hasn't yet talked to, it's like in the background, I can't afford a VA. I'm not there yet. I don't have enough tasks to give away. I mean, these are all things that I talk to my clients and say, no, call. But so many people are like, it's too soon. I can't afford it, blah, blah, blah. So, how do people know? Like, what would you say? Like, this is when you really want to talk to or look at having a VA, because the one thing that I know is like, listen, I would love to hire you guys full time. And the thing that when I told you that, or I didn't even say that, but you're like at work focusing on how I can make more money so that having a VA actually more than pays for itself.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the brilliance, that it's kind of upside down thinking for people. So when people are looking at their businesses and saying, no, it's not time yet, what do you say to people? How do they know when it's time?
Yeah. So Well, yeah, when people start with I can't afford to have staff, I can't afford to have anybody help me, my immediate go-to is you cannot afford not to if this is really what you want to do. If this is really a business you want to do, you're making plans for this for your future, you can't afford not to. And I say that because truly, if you have a business, there's some genius within you that you focus on, that you are passionate about, and that what I've learned across all with people who have businesses, there is somebody out there that is your client somewhere, no matter what business you have. It could be anything, and there will be a tribe of people who want that thing, right? And so it only behooves you to perfect that thing that it is that you're passionate about for this tribe of people who really needs and wants that thing. And so it takes away from your ability to do that if you now have to be your own admin, be your own social, be your own marketing. I also tell people, really kind of read between the lines on a lot of things that are popular, right? We're all kind of pushed towards a certain means of product, or I mean, you and I were just talking about CRMs and different things. And what we always tell people, especially if you're just starting out in a business and you're at the start out level, there's a lot of ways to get around those things that are just as great and will look just as grand and make just as big of a splash without paying a ton of money for it. And so we always try to start people at the level that is affordable so that your staff can be moving you forward. If your virtual assistant or your staff is not making you money, you need to find new staff. Their whole reason for being is that your business is moving forward. So I guess I say all that to say also that staff should be included in your beginning workings of when you're creating your business plan, to be honest, and really looking at what are those things that you hate doing and plugging in the people that can do them. There are affordable ways to do that. Shout out to COVID for the fact that they let us all realize how much we can do virtually and how affordable it is to do it virtually. And so, in that vein, there's always somebody who can manage it. And there's different types of VAs too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome. So I just want to say, so I keep looking over here, there's comments. Thanks, Deb. She says, love it. So smart. But there's other people, if you guys have questions for Mackenzie around productivity, around hiring a VA or anything like that, put them in the comments. This is real time. I'm checking it. We can get those questions to Mackenzie. So all right. So now when it comes to productivity, let's just talk about productivity for a minute, outside of even having a VA maybe, but what are some of the things that people need to look at, be aware of when it comes to productivity and really being their most productive selves?
Yeah, well, and that kind of all boils down again to like really focusing in and honing in on what is your business and what are your goals. And chances are those goals will change several times that year, and that's okay. And that's fine. And that's great. They should change. And your business should evolve from the idea that you have to what it really is set out to be. And the only way to know that is to find your tribe of people who is looking for what it is that you do, and that tribe of people that fits in to what it is that you're passionate about. And so that really is when you are starting out and you have your business and you have your thing, and here you are with your shingle out and you're ready to go, your first stop is to locate those people and continue to fine tune, use that opportunity to fine tune what it is that you're offering and what it is that you're doing and how it is that you're projecting that. And so the last thing you really kind of want to do, there's a lot of people saying what we should use and what platform we should be on. And this is the latest thing. And this is you're a nobody if you don't use this one. And, that's just not true. And so you definitely want to really dial it back to what works for you. Most people don't realize that, like the front end of our website, for example, we have a back end that's, it's a login. So there's different levels to it, but our front end is a Wix site. And when people find that out, they're like, you just use Wix? And we're like, yeah, it's phenomenal. It's great. It has all the plugins we need. It allows us to update as we go. It's always super current. They're constantly changing things. They built in the kind of things that we're all looking for in CRM sometimes. And so it's kind of all inclusive. So yeah, it's just a Wix site. And people are kind of the impression that it's just Wix, and so it's those kind of things too. Just start where you need to start and let your business tell you where else you should grow, if that makes sense. Yeah.
It's so good because I'm one of those people that got caught up, I was working with this really high-end coach, and thankfully I didn't. Like, he recommended everybody get into Infusionsoft, or as some people call it, Confusionsoft, and my relationship to technology, that would have been one of the most expensive mistakes I would have made had I done it. But thankfully I was smart enough not to do that. But still, going into ClickFunnels and all those things, when I'm a brand new business, like, I did not need to be spending $200. I was Active Campaign, which I do love now, and I use Active Campaign, and it's appropriate now. But back then, Active Campaign and ClickFunnels at $200 a month, when I barely even have a business going, right? And it just wasn't appropriate. So I think it's really important that what you said is that you really look at what is it that you actually need, and don't go for the most expensive stuff. You just don't need to.
You just don't. And nobody can tell if you don't, to be honest. I mean, there's,
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah. So, so any questions for anybody watching? We're going to start to wrap this up here, but what are one or two tips or tricks? I mean, you've shared a lot, but what is maybe one or two things that entrepreneurs should do, use, something like that would be useful for them?
To what well, one of the things, and I can actually add that in if there's anybody who wants to use it. One of the things that we give out to a lot of people is it's a monetary predictor. And so what it does is it says, okay, here's this business. And obviously none of us go into business because we're do-gooders and we're going to volunteer forever. We go into business to make money off of something we're passionate about. That's just what it is. And so in order to calculate that out, sometimes it's hard to tell how much of that thing you need to do in order to have the amount that you need to, for example, just pay your bills, just pay the bills outright so that you can continue doing this business. And so we have a predictor that we give everybody that allows them to kind of set goals around that. And it allows people to kind of shape out, okay, I need to sell this many of this every month in order to be a millionaire by such and such. And I can drop that in for anybody who just wants it and it might be interested in that. But then the idea of, like, business plans are great, but because your goals are going to shift every month, we tell people all the time, and we do this with clients all the time. We have this starter phase. And then as we continue to grow, we review goals and review outcomes weekly, monthly, constantly, because chances are, and a lot of you've probably already experienced this, I know that we do, where you are, like I'm looking at a calendar that's in front of me, and it's going to be August. From January to August, it's almost like a different company. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing how quickly. Yeah. So you want to review those, you want to check into that, you want to be that invested in that, aware of where you are and how much.
And you know what's one thing that's important to say about that? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong.
Doing that. It's normal.
Exactly. Like it's January and it's August and you're like, man, all those things I said in January and now I'm doing something different. Like, it's okay.
How business works.
That is exactly right. But because I think,
baby.
Yeah, exactly. So Deb has a question. She said, list some of the things that your VAs do.
So nowadays, the way that we VA is a little different than just kind of giving somebody, kind of like what you said, a jack of all trades kind of VA. And so what we do is we pair people initially with it. Well, they work with me kind of initially, and we kind of look at what are their goals and where are we, and then we plug in an admin that manages all administrative tasks, one-offs, personal tasks, things that you don't have time for, and that it helps you to begin to delegate. And so now you have this right-hand person who's saying, hey, I could do that for you, or you're just like, let me just send that over there for them. And so they're kind of your right hand and your admin. And so we would suggest an admin of it immediately, just because they will fine tune you in a way that gets you organized, creates an SOP for your business if you're looking to create these types of positions, and then just lays out your day because you have somebody that you can offload to and who is ready to take those offloads. Beyond that, we then assign would be a marketing person that can help to shape out your marketing plan, which is another one. I mean, we provide these marketing plans, but as we plug in and two heads being better than one, that's the kind of thing that you trial and error and trial, and you keep trying things and different things until you hit something that sticks. It sticks for a while, is the nature of marketing. And then you keep on going towards that's just kind of how those work. So somebody who has a mind for that can kind of keep up with the trends and see if this one's for you and see what's appropriate to try. And so really, in my opinion, those are really the two that you need. And those admins, in terms of what can they do, all of it. We have admins who manage people's bills. Piece of advice, we have people use LastPass, which Georgina uses, is great. And what that does is it prevents whoever it is who has your passwords or your banking or whatever you need them to do, you can upload all of that into LastPass. And it allows somebody who's not you, but to make payments on your behalf, make purchases, log into your accounts, but they will never have access to your passwords. And so it's just like a security measure.
Deb asked, what are the price? So Deb, I'm going to do an introduction between the two of you anyway, but yes. So she talked about price ranges.
Price ranges, yes. And so we do buckets of hours, right? So you can start as low as 10 hours. And that's around the $200 range. And then the more hours you buy, it goes down incrementally from there. We also have a program where if you refer people and they come on as clients, then we give referral hours for that. So some people pay for their staff through referral. It adds hours to their account. And then if she's kind of asking me what to pay people, is that kind of it too? Like, what is acceptable for virtual assistants? That's kind of our range, but.
Yeah, I think you could definitely say, because I mean, I know that in my experience, I have paid anywhere from $10 an hour with the VAs in the Philippines, which I now don't really recommend, up to $50 an hour.
Yeah, well, and so that's the other part. There's so many different ways to use VAs and different categories of VA. So like for us, we're an agency, and so we kind of work as a team. You can also hire a virtual assistant. There's lots of virtual assistants who kind of hang out their shingle and kind of do their own thing. The only part about that I wouldn't recommend is, for example, when you sign on with us, you're not signing a 6-month contract or anything. There is an acceptance of terms and conditions and that kind of thing. But I've people who ask you to sign 6 months to be their client or anything like that, I would kind of be a little leery of, just because you never know. And again, 6 months from now, your business might be totally different. That might not be who you need. And then, there are uses for other, like ours are US based, and we do that for tax purposes, but also because we want to do background checks. We're looking for things like fraud and that kind of stuff to make sure that whoever comes on doesn't have a background like that. Sorry, I have little ones, so you're probably hearing them.
That's right.
And then, but if you're looking for one-off projects, we do recommend like people per hour, Fiverr. Upwork is there, but people on Upwork can be kind of expensive, and so there's that. But sorry,
was that holding them back?
That was a stop right there. Yeah, they're like right off to the side. Sorry.
I think one thing, sorry to interrupt, but I think one thing when you're talking about one-off projects, that's the one thing I also loved about you guys is, I mean, even though I'm working directly with you, you have people that are experts in everything. So if somebody had a one-off project, aside from what they're already doing, you can, within their own package, right? They could get that kind of dialed in there. So anyway.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere ever again. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but it's anybody who ever has any questions or just, anything, I'm happy to answer anything. Or, I mean, even if they just have questions about somebody else that they want to hire and they just need some feedback, definitely. It's virtual assisting has been going on for a long time in other countries. There's like in the UK and things, virtual assisting has been going on for a while, but it's semi-new in the US. So, it's kind of wild, wild west style, and everybody's trying their hand on it. And COVID brought a lot of people into being virtual assistants, that maybe given the option would go back to work. And so, I get how it's difficult. It's difficult to find the right fit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, this has been awesome. And I'll do an email intro with you and Deb because Deb's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
all right. So we've covered a lot of stuff, and productivity is such a huge thing. So whether you're working with a virtual assistant or dialing in your own productivity and finding where your genius is and where it shouldn't be, is so important in impacting your productivity, I think. So I really appreciate you in, besides being a member of Millions of Women Strong and, just being my partner in looking at and being so excited about my business as I am. And that just means the world. And so grateful to have you in my sphere now. And thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. Thank you so much. This has been awesome.
Yeah. So everybody watching, so we will put a link to Cascade Virtual in the comments, and you'll put your link for what you were talking about, the revenue.
The predictor thing.
Yeah. And and so tomorrow is our last of the authors from the Wisdom of Women Journal, Susan Marie Almquist. She's a former attorney, and she's writing about what you do when you have bad neighbors, roommates, etc. So I'm excited to have her. It's great to have like that legal voice, and she's amazing. So check back in here at 1 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow. We'll be talking to Susan Marie Almquist. And thank you very much for being here. We have our upcoming event is August 18th at 11:45 Pacific. So some of you may remember that our second event was on a Thursday in the late afternoon. It's been changed, so both events are on Wednesdays, the first and third Wednesday at 11:45. So you can mark your calendar, but the links will be coming out very soon for that. Until then, thank you very much for being one of our members. Thank you very much, Mackenzie, and we will talk to you again tomorrow. Thanks so much. Bye for now, everybody.
Bye.